Good morning, YouTube Reseller Mom here. Welcome to today's video. Today is Monday, October 7th, and I want to do a video on how I start my week and set things up because that's what I struggled with a lot when I first started doing Amazon FBA and working for myself. You get overwhelmed really easy because there's all these things that you're supposed to be doing or trying to do or whatnot. And then you also have projects that you want to build your business, and then you also got to get shipments out. And so it can be overwhelming pretty quick. So I thought I'd share with you how I set up my my week and some of the things that have helped me out. And it's just an informal vlog. I didn't really put a whole lot of effort into preparing for this vlog. I'm just going to go through what I've done, and maybe later I will do a more formal, spruced up vlog. Right now, I'm just filming in one of my little rooms. It has like the heater and stuff in it, so it's kind of, where we keep the junk, or not junk, but our vacuum cleaner and puzzles and things like that. So my daughter is doing online school in the office next door, and I went shopping all weekend, did several Burlington Burlington, I keep wanting to say Burlington Coat Factory, but they ditched the Coat Factory part of their name. But Burlington stores on Friday, Saturday, and then yesterday I went to, pardon me, Marshall's and Ross. So I've got several bags of stuff everywhere in the office and in my garage. I have a couple tables in the garage. And now it's Monday morning. It's time to hunker down and get these shipments done. But I also have other things going on. And we've got the online school and we've got personal stuff. And so some of the things that have helped me out is to make some lists. I'm a list person. I have to write it down, or I get too much stuff in my head and I get really anxious about it, and I get stressed out about it. So if I write it down, that really helps me with my stress and anxiety. So for work, I have a daily, like, what I want to accomplish list, and then I have kind of other lists besides that, other projects that maybe I'm breaking things out. Like I'm looking at possibly getting a VA, so I have a list of what, if I got a VA, what could they do. I'm also trying to work on a Shopify store. So today I have that I want to work on my Shopify store for half an hour or an hour, or maybe, get one infrastructure part done. And then I have another list that is the overall of what I want to go and what I want to do with my Shopify store. So that has been really helpful with keeping my thoughts straight. When you get all these thoughts and you have so many things going on, like I'll read Facebook posts or whatnot, and I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. I want to do that. Or I see a program or a software or an app or something. I gotta make a list to go and check them out. And really, there's not enough time in the day to do everything that's out there. So make your list and then choose what is important. So speaking of that, on your list, there's kind of two ways you can attack your list. And I do a little bit of combination of either or both. Some say write a list down and then do the most important things first and get those knocked out of your list, or the hard ones first and get those knocked out of your list. The other way you can attack it is do the ones that the time period is best suited for. So if you've ever done any studies that you kind of analyze when you do your best work or when things are easier for you, you can do that. Like I have on there a lot of writing for some contracts and SOPs and stuff, and morning time is not my time. My brain is not quite woken up. Sitting and doing something is not the best time for me to do that. However, taking things out of bags and organizing my inventory, I'm a lot more efficient with that in the morning. I'm just on autopilot. I can put like with like and kind of not have to think about it. So for me, I like to schedule more that way because there's a huge difference in efficiency. If I tried to write SOPs right now, I'd kind of be groggy and procrastinating and this and that. Whereas if I start working on my inventory list and getting my inventory sorted out, I will be much more efficient. Okay, so the next thing that is super, super important for me is rituals and, like having a daily ritual. So on Monday mornings, I print out the list for my daughter's online school and put it on a board that the whole family can see. So everybody knows when her classes are, what's due, what's when. Then for work, I've developed a ritual. I've been doing it for a while. But when I come down to the office, I light a candle, I start one load of laundry, I put on some music, or maybe I'll listen to a YouTube video or something like that, and I get myself prepped up for the day. So my things are candle, music, my to-do list, and I'm going to plan on what I'm doing for my to-do list and get everything written down that I need to do. And then there's other things that I don't do, and I make sure that I'm not going to be dragged and sucked into those, because we all have black holes in our life. Some of those black holes might be called Facebook or Instagram or researching something. And there's a time to go down those black holes, and then there's a time to not go down those. So some of the things I don't do is like organize my emails in the morning. I will get a ton of emails. Amazon is great for sending you tons of emails. That is one thing that I've noticed that I'm not very efficient at, and I just I'm not using my time efficiently with it. I can sort my emails from my phone at any time during the day, so it is better for me to go and do that like while I'm getting the oil changed in my car, or checking out for groceries, or checking out while I'm, waiting in line at Ross. I can go through and categorize and sort through my emails versus spending a half hour in the morning during the week to do that. Now, your schedule may be completely different. That's fine. But whatever works for you and is efficient, and you really need to analyze that, because at first I thought, sitting down and doing a half an hour of emails in the morning, that's going to set me up for success and this and that. And then I kind of realized, like, no, because I'm not really needing to see any of my emails this morning. It's Monday morning. I check to make sure that I don't have any glaring like IP claims or anything like that. But other than that, I can just let everything else slide. I don't really need to, I might have some price alerts, or, some deals came in, or I have some coupon or something to look at. But I'm not going shopping today, so it doesn't really matter. I need to not focus on that, and I need to focus on getting my stuff ready to go. Okay, so now that I've got my plan in place, I've got my office set up, I'm ready to go. My next plan of action is to get all my inventory that I have sorted out over the weekend, over the last 3 days, and get everything kind of put out in like with like scenario, because this is how I'm going to process this inventory lab shipment. Everything that I bought over the last 3 days is in a buy list on Inventory Lab, and then I will go ahead and I will email that to myself. Then I download it, upload it on Inventory Lab on my desktop, and then it will tell me, where they want all the shipment stuff to go, and you process it and validate it and check for repeat items on there. You'll merge any duplicates and replenish. They have you click to replenish anything. So if you haven't used or processed Inventory Lab in that way, that is one way. If you were doing something like, I don't know, the other way is just to enter each item as you go, bring it home and then start doing your buy list. And I've done both ways. Both ways have the pros and cons, but this is the way that I've been doing it for a while, and I really like and find it efficient. Okay, so then I have my buy list, and I've got everything into, it says it's supposed to go to whatever location it wants to go to. And I will share with you the stats for that buy list, because you guys have seen me shopping all weekend. I did film. I was very good at filming haul videos because I'd been slacking on that. Not by choice, just I've had some technical errors and kids and craziness. And then I'm going to unpack everything from the bags and put everything in different, groups based kind of on size and what it is. All the clothes I hang up, and then all the large items, that's what I'm going to start with. So I will do that, and then I will get all my boxes taped up and ready to go. And then I start with the largest items. So I will take a large item, scan the UPC code to a box, and it will then assign it to whatever. So usually I'm going to SMF. That's been the location I go to. So my first large item I will scan in. It will go to SMF1. It will be in box number 1. And I will peel off whatever sticker needs to be, do whatever packaging needs to be, and then pop it into box SMF1 with the labels. So I have my printing settings set on Inventory Lab to print after I scan something to a box, versus sometimes when I'm entering in a product, you have it print right there. You can do either. You can play around with those print settings, but that's what's been working for me. Same with clothes. Sometimes it's hard to match up clothes because you have different sizes and styles, and maybe you're buying a lot of things that are all very similar. So I find it easier to just scan the UPC and then have it spit me out the label, so I make sure I have the exact item with the right label. Because with clothes, you can get into a lot of trouble if you send somebody the wrong item. They could give you bad feedback, and those feedbacks are very hard to get off. So you got to be careful with that. Versus, like, say you're packing up a whole bunch of toys, it's easy to see Monopoly. I don't know, we'll just say Millennial Monopoly is pretty easy to see from the tag and match it up, versus Cranium or something like that. Whereas I bought a bunch of scrubs this Friday, and I have a lot of blue scrubs, a lot of the same style blue scrubs, but slightly different. All right, so that is where we're at. So I am going to stop the video, and what I'm going to do is bring in my rack of clothes. It's in the garage right now because I needed the office for something else yesterday afternoon, or yesterday morning. Bring in my clothes, bring in my boxes, and get everything lined up on the tables. And you know what? I'll show you the before picture so that you know what I'm talking about. So we'll do a before picture and then an after picture, and then I will start getting things sorted out into boxes. And this will give you an idea kind of from start to finish of my day. And it might even be more than one day. I don't know if I'll get everything done today. You having this, or at least I do. I always think like, oh, that's easy. I'll get all this stuff done. It's easy peasy. And then you run into road bumps, and next thing you know, it's taken you twice as long as what you thought. All right, let's get going. Here is the office kind of before. I've got a nice big area to work with. I've moved my anti-fatigue mat to work on my table. I've got everything I got at Ross and Marshall's right there. Then, it's fairly clean. I did have an email come in. My stuff at the Dollar Tree is ready to be picked up. This is something that I was going to sell and then found out that it was a 3-pack, so that's not going to work. Let's see here. Then I've got a list of some interview notes that I was working on. My candle is ready to go, and my dog is ready for the day. Here is my garage, and I'm not going to win any Pinterest boards. It is dark and garagey. It is what it is. All right, so I've got all of my scrubs hung up on my rack there. Then I've got lots of bags from shopping this weekend. Right next to it is some shipments that came in over the weekend, I think. Anyhow, so the family just puts them there. I try to process them all sometimes in the morning. Sometimes I'll go a couple mornings without opening up boxes from Amazon. They're not going anywhere. They're not doing anything. But once you open them, then you're going to have stuff. So, like, this is an Amazon return. These are all Amazon returns. And then I will go through and sort them out to either my eBay pile, my donation pile. Some of them can go right back to Amazon, like this one doesn't look any damaged. I gotta look it over. But this bra, they took off all the tags, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Anyhow, it's the pile of decisions you need to make for your Amazon returns. Do you just give them away? Do you save them for a garage sale? Do you give them to donations? Do you list them on eBay, Mercari, etc.? Each item is going to have some sort of story going on with it and some sort of value. All right, so those are my piles. I'm going to go take all these bags in and get everything lined up on the table and then get my boxes ready to go, and I will show you that. I have got my room organized and ready to go, so I'm going to go ahead and send the buy list to my email so that I can download it and upload it and validate and process it. And to do that, as I was scanning through the stores, I added all my items to a buy list. To get that buy list, I click on the little shopping cart with the 93. That means I believe it means I have 93 items to this order. You can see at the very bottom, it says my total item cost is $1,166. So if I'm looking for roughly 100% ROI, give or take, my profit value should be right around $1,166. There's a couple options you can do with this to the right. The little up arrow is, it will sort from ascending to descending. So if I wanted to see like the first item I added, I would click that. Right now it's showing the last item I added, which was some deer foam slippers. Also, just note that if you have coupons or tax, I factor in the tax and the coupon so I get an accurate buy price. So see how Bali Woman's is $7.69. I pay tax on those at, well, if I bought it at Kohl's, I would put in 10% tax and then usually have a 20 or 30% off code. So you want to make sure those are all accurate so you have accurate numbers. If you're using Inventory Lab for repricing or to determine if an item was profitable or supplier, etc. You want to be as accurate as you can. The second, which is like a little arrow to the right, is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to email it to myself. And then the next one is to archive it. So I do that with all my old ones. Once I send it to myself, then I'm going to archive it so I don't accidentally keep adding to one that I don't want to. I've done that before, forget to archive it, and then you get shopping and you get 15 items into your new buy list. I'm like, oh, I put them all on the wrong buy list. And then the last one is trash. So you could trash or archive. I don't really know if there's like a pro or con to either of them. I kind of like the archive button because if I ever want to go back and see what I did 3 months ago or something, I can maybe go find a product, etc. I don't know if I needed to do research on it or something. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and email that to myself, and then I will process it, and then I will show you the room and what the numbers Inventory Lab is saying. Now, the other thing is, as I go through all of these things and get them, inevitably there's going to be mistakes. So I have a little area on my desk where if something's not jiving, I put it over there. Like the aioli sauce that I showed you in like the opening, that was originally on my buy list, and then I noticed that it was a pack of 3, not a pack of 1, and I had already taken off the sticker. So I put that over kind of in my area to decide what to do with later. So sometimes I'll forget to put something on the buy list or whatnot, and I let that little pile fester for a bit, and then towards the end of the week, I either get them returned, put them into another shipment, I'll add them into another shipment, or whatever the case may be. So anyhow, you want to be efficient, and today's main goal is to get this $1,100 of inventory out the door. All right, let's get sending this. A bit of time has passed and I've got everything set up, ready to go. So everything's entered. I'll go through some numbers and stuff there. I've got all my clothes hung up there. I've got 3 empty boxes ready to be loaded up. My dogs are ready. I don't know what's going on over there. Let's see here. I've got all of my hard goods and, little items over here ready to go. I did clean off the table before. I will go work on all the stuff that's on the table first and then clean it again and then work on all my clothing to fill in the boxes. So when I start with stuff, I'll start with those bulky stackable items. I've got some other plush and shoes over there as well. It split up my order into 3 different locations. I'm sending 3 to Ontario. Those are all shoes. 22 items to SDF 8 and 106 to SMF. So I will start on the SMF. I will hold off on the other 2 because I do have other things coming in this week, and maybe some will go to that order and get combined and make shipping a little bit better for it. All right, so as I I'll take some of the stacky stuff and go ahead and get it entered. And when I entered it into a box, I will then label my box with like SMF1 is probably going to be the first box, put my items in there, fill it up, and then move on to the next box. And I have the labels pop out as I'm entering them. With all of these things like this that has the Burlington tag, I will take a picture of the tag and the UPC code on my phone and get all of that loaded up, and then I keep those files on my computer for proof of where you get your stuff if you ever do get an IP claim. So let's see here, you don't have to do it for stores that have the UPC code on the receipt, like Kohl's, but Ross, Marshalls, TJ Maxx, Burlington, those are all stores that I need to make photocopies of. And let's see here. So this gives you an idea of what I did. I did about 3 hours of shopping yesterday, a little bit of shopping on Saturday, well, kind of a lot, and then same with Friday. This is, 3 days of shopping, but I did do it kind of over the weekend, so I had kids and extra things thrown into my day. Now, I tried to print this out nice and neat for you, and it wasn't really working. The other thing I wanted to say was I had 2 issues with this order. One was a Volcom scrub didn't go through because I am restricted in that, so I had to pull that from my order and I will have to return that. So that's good to know. I haven't taken the tags off. I can just go ahead and return it later this week. no big deal. And then 1 needed dimensions. So if you are needing dimensions, we'll use this as an example. You put it on your scale. It will ask you for the weight and the dimensions. So you'd say, you know, whatever, 12 ounces and then 10 by 6 by 3. And the dimensions will go through. No big deal. But if you do run into that, that's that. Okay, so total SKUs for this order is 83. Total items 131. Average rank 166, which is not bad. Some of the clothing was a little on the high side. Potential sales, 3,616. Cost of goods, 1,154. And potential profit, 1,377. Now, I pulled some numbers, was looking at numbers last night, and averagely, my percent profit or percent ROI, even though I'm aiming for about 100 or better, it usually gets knocked down about 30% when it goes into repricing and everything like that. So, you know, it's good to know kind of what your numbers are. So this potential profit, even though it's high at 1,377, realistically, knock that down by about 30% is probably what I'll make off of this whole shipment, you know, give or take. Let's see here. So this helps me with my goals. I keep track of all these numbers for each shipment. And for the week, I am trying to hit potential profit at about 4,000 right now. When I first started this business, this goal was 500 to 1,000. And then I bumped it up to 15, then 2, then 3. Now I'm at 4. So, you know, always trying to get better. I do have a couple of RA items online arbitrage items coming in, and around 2 o'clock today I'm going to go over to the dollar store and get all of my stuff there for bundles. My son wants to do some work tonight bundling that stuff up because he wants to go do this activity this weekend and needs some money. So I will have other orders going on this week that will be added into some of those shipments. I might just send out the 106 to SMF by itself and then create another SMF shipment. That's usually my default that I get shipped to. And then leave the other 2 smaller ones open and hopefully add some things to that going on throughout the week. So that's a good way to start the week off. $1,300 in potential profits towards my $4,000 goal. And we'll see what happens. Hopefully I can hit my goals today. I do also have wholesale orders that get shipped to me, but also ones that go directly to Amazon. That's kind of a new thing for me. That's kind of exciting. All right, so I'm going to get started. So like I said, first things I'm going to do is grab these guys that are all nice and easy peasy, get pictures of the tags and the UPC codes, then get them, you know, if they need polybagging or cleaning up or whatever, get them straightened up and get them packed into the boxes and just keep loading up and get going on the day. I've been helping my daughter out with a essay that she's got to do in the office here while I'm working, but that's pretty easy. Other than that, I usually listen to like a YouTube or a show or something in the background while I'm packing this up. All right, time to get to work. I'll try and update you like maybe halfway through or something. As you can see, I've got a little bit of area cleaned up on the table and some things packed. I've got about 20 items packed into SMF1, which is that box right there. I just wrote on the side of it SMF1 to keep things straight and tidy. And then large things that were not going to be part of this order that I'm not working on right now, I went ahead and tidied up into this first box here, just to keep it all together, make sure it's out of the way. It's not going to, you know, it's just out of the way and it's tidied up. So that's how I work. I like to keep things nice and neat as much as possible because things get chaotic during the week. All right, so my general how-to or how I process things is I'll group up a bunch of items, take the pictures of them because I am photographing the store tag and then the UPC tag, and then I take all the labels off, and then I get them all ready and kind of make me a little pile right here. And then I scan to pack. So as I scan to pack, as I scan the item, it's going to print me out a FBA label. Okay, so, you know, I've got my items in there. This is my SMF1, all nice, ready to go, and I'm just packing in. So I put the big bulky items in, and then I'm filling in with anything else on my table. And then I'll start on the second box, which will probably be mostly clothes. Anything that needs a poly bag, it's a poly bag. Let's see here, like, get the cord out of the way. Like these Reebok underwear, I put a black thing over the UPC code, so the Amazon people aren't going to accidentally scan it. And these guys have one of those little spots where you can feel the underwear, so you don't want, always assume that the warehouse is dirty and nasty and you want your stuff polybagged as much as possible. Okay, so I've got one over here ready to go. I've got my FBA label. I've taken off all the other stickers. I've put my thing on. See, this is the little hole I'm talking about. You can feel the underwear. And yeah, that one's getting ready to go. I have been trying today this lighter fluid. From what I can tell, all Amazon FBA packers recommend the lighter fluid or Goo Gone glass cleaner. I've used Goo Gone glass cleaner for 4 years, and I finally bought some lighter fluid. Moving on up in the world, and the little wedges for the makeup removal wedges to apply the lighter fluid, and kind of playing with it. It has worked really well. I've really liked it on the Marshalls tags that were on these guys. The Burlington Coat Factory tags were so getting it off. It was probably a little bit better than Goo Gone. So you got to play around with the different things. You'll get your preferences, etc. My trash can looks like this, all stickers on the side. I've got my little, I don't know, what do you call it? Tools and things here. I've got my poly bags. And then in here, I've got my little charging station. I love this. This has been so nice. I have all my stickers on this little pretty, I think it's a bracelet holder, necklace holder, something like that. Anyhow, so I've got some tools there. And then over here, I've got my Goo Gone out. I've got a rag. This has just glass cleaner if I need to wipe any residue or smudge off of any packages. And then I've got my items here that are ready to go. So I've got it open. I've got it started to scan. And I tell you, it's as easy as this. And then that way, with these underwear packs, there's a lot that are different colors or different sizes. And boom, I've got my FBA label. So I'm going to go ahead and take this over to the counter, cover the UPC, put it in a poly bag, add the label, and we are good to go. So it's as easy as that. So that one's done. I can do 2 here without getting too confusing. Boom, you can hear it go. And then it's added. Oh, that one says error. It is not in your current shipment. Okay, so this means that it's in that other shipment. So all I'm going to do is take it and chuck it into that box because I'll be doing that shipment another time. Anyhow, yeah, I'm going to keep going here, get as much stuff as I can, and then start working on the clothes. Yeah, I'll check back with you. It is now just after 6 o'clock. We're back down in the office for a few minutes here. A lot has happened this afternoon, pretty busy, and I stopped working probably around 2:30, 3 o'clock, and that's kind of when a lot of things happen in my household. I have to go pick up my son. I had to help my daughter out with homework. I took the dogs out for their walk. I went down to the dollar store and picked up, I think, 24 cases of stuff that I will bundle up for work. Got everybody fed, dinner, kitchen picked up, food put away, etc. Now I'm back. I can kind of tidy up and see what my game plan for tomorrow morning is going to be, or how much more I want to get done tonight. All right, so dogs are resting as they should for their busy day. No, they haven't had a busy day at all. Anyhow, let's see here. I've got my tables all pretty cleaned up, and this is all I have left of the clothing, and some of these clothings are going to go to SDF. So I had 22 items pegged to go to SDF, 105 to SMF. I've got 1 box full, 2 box full, working on my 3rd box, and it should tell me how many, I can't see, but it will tell you how many items you have left to scan, so that kind of helps me decide how big of a 3rd box I'm going to need there. Anyhow, I thought I'd show a couple of things. One, hangers. You don't want to pack anything with hangers 99% of the time. There is a couple exceptions to the rule, but rule of thumb, Amazon does not want hangers in any of the clothing items. So you could trash them, but I like to recycle them or give them to the Value Village. And then this is how I process my tags. I take the tags off and I just stick them in this lovely jar. And if I do need to find a tag to reattach it, say I need to return it for whatever reason, I find some stains or I'm gated or whatnot, then I can just go reattach the tag. And then when the jar fills up, like it did today, I bag and tag. So the bag says Q2, Q3 of 2019. I stick them in the storage unit. It doesn't take up very much room. It's probably overkill, but when I first started doing this, I'd just throw the tags in the trash And then lo and behold, like a day or two later, I'd have to go find the tag, and then I'm searching through the trash, and sometimes that's not very fun and hard to find the tag, or the tag may have some sort of liquid on it that you don't want to touch. So anyhow, I've switched to this method. It doesn't take up much room. That's my personal preference. This is an Amazon. Terms of service says do not send with hangers. That's a loosey preference because I've had things where I've had to go reattach the tag for whatever reason. Maybe you return. I've actually snipped the wrong tag too. I've snipped the manufacturer's tag instead of the Ross or whatever tag and had to reattach it to. So that little reattaching tool, you can find that down in my Amazon Associates store. I've linked that down below. Anyhow, so that's my area. Of course, I get a phone call in the middle of filming because that's what happens. My sister-in-law is pregnant and she found out if it's a boy or a girl, but she's not telling the family. So we've got some masterminding going on around that. Hopefully we'll know tomorrow and I'll be excited. Anyhow, that was all I'm going to show you for right now. And then I will get the rest of this wrapped up and kind of show you what that looks like too. All right. I don't know if I'll be doing that tonight. It might roll over into tomorrow. It just kind of depends on how many times I get interrupted. I had high hopes for this afternoon, and then I had 3 deliveries, a couple phone calls, had to help with homework, then it's dinner. You know how it goes. Just one thing leads into another. All right. I will check back in a bit. I have got the music cranking, and I'm just bagging clothes, having a good time here in the office. But I ran into a small problem. On this very white Nike jersey, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little bit of, I'm going to guess somebody's face makeup. Anyhow, I'm going to take this, which is just a non-scented baby wipe, and it should come right back off, but this is one case where I did take the tags already off of it, and so I just gently, let's see if I can do that while I'm on camera, gently take it off, and it comes right off, and then I will let that dry before bagging it. I don't know. I just let it dry because I don't know if it's going to sit in the bag wet and then kind of mold. That would be like a worst case scenario if your customer got moldy clothes. But as you can see, completely gone. Just a little bit of smut there. Easy to clean. All right, back to jamming out here. Just after 10 o'clock and I am all done. So I want to share with you the stats for just this shipment right here. Now I start off with 130 items, 105 are going to SMF. I was able to get them into 2 boxes. It was looking like 3, and then I was able to squeeze some things around and get it into 2 boxes. The first box is 30 pounds. The second box is 24 pounds. And I've got the stats on that in just a second. And then I've got the clothes that are going into the other location right hanging up there, and then the other stuff in the box. This is what I used for dunnage today, whatever. It's just, I don't know, packing paper dunnage. And so I've got 22 items going to SDF, 5 to ONT, 105 will go out tomorrow morning. The other 2 I'm going to keep open and hopefully add some more stuff to them, because let me show you what the shipping breaks down to. Out of the 105 items, it breaks down to 54 pounds total, 30 plus 24, 54. These are 18 by 18 by 18 boxes, some of my favorites. I really like that size to work with. That's a good one for me to handle. It fits quite a bit of stuff. And anyhow, these boxes I got from the Boxery. I ordered a big stack going into Q4 there. But if you are not getting them online, then Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot are kind of my go-tos for that. In fact, I need to stock up on some boxes. I'm getting low. Okay, at 105 items, 2 boxes cost me $20.49. That is ridiculously cheap, let me tell you. I am going from Seattle area to SMF. I don't know where SMF is. I can look on the tag. Hold on. I should know this. I really should. Stockton, California. You know what? I drove past those 2 when I was down in that area. Anyhow, it works out to 20 cents an item. So this is ideally like a great shipment when it works out to 20 cents an item. You saw all the items I was packing up. It's a lot of clothes, easy to fit, pretty light, etc. If you have heavier items, bigger items like books or something, your shipping is going to creep up more towards the 50 cents range. Overall, when I average out all my shipping, it usually winds up between 45 to 50 cents an item. So if I'm out there sourcing, that's kind of what I'm pegging in my head to calculate for shipping. Now, I have that ONT shipment of 3 pairs of shoes. I can tell you right now, 3 pairs of shoes would probably cost me about $6 to ship that box, maybe 5 if I'm lucky. And it works out to, it might be a little bit lower, but $1 to $2 per pair of shoes. So that's why I don't really want to ship out 3, but if you got to do, then you got to do, and you got to know that sometimes you're going to pay a little bit more, but most of the time you want to have most of your items be as efficient as you can. But every once in a while you've got to, you got to just suck it up and pay the stuff to ship it, especially, if it's seasonal or stuff. I had some Halloween candy that I wasn't too thrilled with my shipping plan, but it's Halloween candy. You got to get it in, right? It's not like you can just wait until Thanksgiving and try to capitalize on Halloween candy. So anyhow, that is how it works out today. Again, it's after 10 o'clock, but I've had a lot of interruptions, and that's kind of how my day goes. My son did do some packing from the dollar store items tonight. We are going to do the reseller stew again tomorrow on Tuesdays at Deborah's channel, Pinching Pesos. So I'm really excited about that. Had to work out some kinks with that. And then it is kind of late, but I'm also been working on some just back end stuff for my business. Everybody who usually does Amazon has some other things floating around, and I want to build a Shopify site, and I also have somebody that building instructions for shoppers and employees and stuff. So I'm trying to build that infrastructure in my business. Anyhow, I know you guys don't need to know that, but sometimes that's what I'll do tonight. The other thing I did was I grabbed the dollar store little flyer, and I want to do some scanning because they have Christmas out, and so dollar store bundles for Christmas items might be something I want to look at while I'm watching TV or, making dinner or something. Anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed this video tonight. You guys are staring at that. Let's stare at my cute dog who's over here being just cute, laying there in her bed with her new, she's got a little jacket on that has bat wings on it. She's tuckered out. She went to work with my husband today. Anyhow, if you like these videos, give me a thumbs up. If you have any comments, questions, leave them down below. I am using Inventory Lab to process everything. Scoutify 2 is the app I use to scan everything. Polybags and all the equipment I use. I have a lot of that linked in my Amazon Associate store down below. So if you use those affiliate links, I get some sort of very little kickback. But it can help me find the equipment too, so I can flag it. And if you are interested in the equipment, you can go there. All right, guys, take care and have an awesome day.